making Big Ten football picks for this weekend from cleveland.com. No Ohio State Maryland game, so we're going to pick another game. Steven, Nathan, and I will each have our best bet for this Big Ten weekend. Where would we really hammer our fake money, because we don't have any actual real money to do this kind of thing? There are 6 other games on the slate, just to run them down for people. Iowa at Minnesota, Indiana at Michigan State, Wisconsin at Michigan, Northwestern at Purdue, Illinois at Rutgers, Penn State at Nebraska. Steven Means, what is your best bet for this Big Ten weekend?
I think Wisconsin's going to pick up right where it left off in Week 1, where Graham Mertz was 20 for 21. They're favored by 4.5 right now over Michigan. I have no faith whatsoever in Michigan, especially in their ability to defend against the passing attack, which Wisconsin showed in Week 1 they have. I think he picks them, that secondary, apart in the same way they're going to get picked apart when they come to Columbus in a few weeks. But I think that's the best bet right now. I think that's a good line as well, because we haven't seen Wisconsin in a couple of weeks. But if Graham Mertz is playing, I think they're going to be able to pick apart Michigan's secondary. So that's my best bet, is Wisconsin beats Michigan.
If Graham Mertz doesn't play, you still like that 4.5?
No, not as much. I get a little worried. I think it's as long as he's playing, they're the best bet. I think if he's not playing, then we're having a different conversation.
Steven is leading our Big Ten picks so far this season. So that makes me a little nervous. I'm also a little nervous about just Wisconsin being off for 2 weeks. But you've been pretty successful, I think, picking against Michigan so far this year. I think I think you've picked against them successfully. You definitely had them losing to Indiana.
I did.
Which came true. So that line, interestingly, opened at Michigan -3. I don't know that I've ever seen a line move a full touchdown. It went from Michigan -3 to Wisconsin -4.5. So a lot of people,
catastrophic news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like they said, a half of Michigan teams quit football or whatever. Like, it just moved on its own from the analysis of the game.
I think, to the point with Graham Mertz, I think every day that's gone by where it hasn't been announced that he has tested, he's still positive, it's helped Wisconsin's chances. I think that's what.
And I do think, but I think people had the assumption that he would play.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think the assumption that he'll play is still there, but we're also not at I think the 100% guarantee that he'll play. So as we record this on Thursday afternoon. So it's interesting. If you get the real Wisconsin, I think that's a very good pick. I think the only question is, do you get the real Wisconsin or not? Nathan, what's your best bet for this Big Ten weekend?
So if the Ohio State-Maryland game were still happening, it would mean that 6 of the 7 games this week would feature a road favorite. Everybody, the road team favorite in 6 of these games, even if you take that one off the board, it's still 5 of 6. I'm going to take the one road underdog, and that is Illinois +7 at Rutgers. I don't think that either of these teams are all that great. And I know that Rutgers showed something in the second half against Ohio State. It was also down 35-3 at halftime. And I just don't feel like Rutgers is at a place yet where they can be a touchdown favorite in a Big Ten game, even at home, even to a team with as many issues as Illinois. So I don't know that Illinois wins this game, but I like getting 7 points I like anybody getting 7 points at Rutgers still right now.
I like that one too. I think that's a little bit of a overexcitement about Rutgers. I don't know that Rutgers is in the business of laying a touchdown to anybody yet. And I think that's I think they got 11 more trick plays. I think that's a little excitement about they looked decent in the second half against Ohio State doing all this crazy stuff, but I don't know that that's the game plan for Illinois. So I like that pick. I actually think there's multiple games that I feel pretty good about this week, but I'm going to go Penn State -3 at Nebraska. If you had set this line before the season, I think Penn State would have been like a 20-point favorite or something, in the 17-point favorite in this game. So, yes, I get it. They had the fluke loss to Indiana. They lost to Penn State. They had no juice against Maryland. I get it. But are they going 0-4? And Nebraska? What does Nebraska have that scares anybody? Nebraska, I still think, is very limited. So it was shocking last week that Penn State lost to Maryland, but they were a 25-point favorite in that game. And now they're a 3-point favorite. And who's actually the better team, Nebraska or Maryland? So I just think the world is Penn State going 0-8? What do we think's happening here?
I don't know. That's why I didn't pick that one. You're right. That should be a best bet, but I don't know what to make of Penn State anymore. You thought you had a handle on them, but
are they terrible? And again, whatever Maryland did last week, throwing the ball a little bit on Penn State, I don't think Nebraska can do that. They have 2 running quarterbacks. So I just think, do you think Penn State's going to lose? It's only a 3-point line. So if you think they're going to win, all right, Penn State can go out there and just be average and win like 27-21 and you cover. So I get it. They've had a bad start, but it's just like, is it over for them? Is the season completely dead? Because I'll tell you what, if you go and lose at Nebraska and you're 0-4, your season's dead. So this is like their last chance to revive it. So I just think Penn State's the better team. Penn State has better talent. I think they go win rather easily. And the idea that their weird start to the season, not just weird, but bad, has depressed this to a 3-point line, I think is an opportunity maybe for some easy money there. All right, those are our Big Ten best bets. We do a full podcast every week where we do 3 Big Ten picks. We do the Ohio State pick. We will still have that podcast on Buckeye Talk, a Friday Buckeye Talk podcast. We aren't making the Ohio State picks, but we're doing Ohio State midseason awards. We're doing other Big Ten picks. So make sure you catch that podcast. For now, thanks for watching on cleveland.com. Thanks for watching on our YouTube channel. He's Nathan, he's Steven, and I'm Doug. We'll catch you later.